What's good? What's good, y'all? This is Krill from Out the Box. I am back for a brand new episode. This is episode 105 of season 4. I want to thank all of the viewers, the listeners that's been checking for me on Out the Box Talks, the podcast. If you're checking out on the YouTube channel, Out the Box TV, appreciate y'all. Thank you for being, you know, dedicated supporters of the platform, and always appreciate when y'all share the content. So yeah, man, I got another dope interview for y'all today. But before I do that, I do want to shout out a few things related to Out the Box. As you guys that have been regulars know, we have the website outtheboxmedia.com. That is the new music blog where you can find daily updates on some of the best independent hip hop and soul music to be released, right? So, for the most part, on a daily basis, the website is being updated with brand new hip hop and soul. All right. Also, we have our merch page where you can get out the box merch like this snapback hat and some other items like t-shirts, hoodies. We got the coffee mug for Out the Box Talks podcast and a few other stuff, right? So if you want to support us by rocking some of the merch, go to outtheboxmedia.bigcartel.com. The link will also be in the description. All right. Also, we have our Patreon page where we have exclusive interviews that you can get that's not available to the general public, right? So you have to be a paid Patreon member to be able to get access to these interviews. I believe we have about over 40, yeah, definitely over 40 interviews up there that have not been, out there for the general public to see. And it's continuing to grow. So, yeah, become a Patreon member if you would like to, support us in that way and get access to exclusive interviews. Also, if you would like to donate to the platform, we have our methods and how you can donate to us. We have the PayPal, Out the Box Media. You can send it to paypal.me/Out the Box Media, as well as Cash App at #, Out the Box Rep. Again, these links will be in the description of this video and also in the description of the audio if you're listening via the podcast, right? The audio podcast. All right. And also remember to subscribe to the channel, Out the Box TV, right? I also have another channel. It's a music review channel called Out the Box Media. So they're both on YouTube. So if you're looking for the interviews are mostly on this channel, Out the Box TV, but the music reviews, the album reviews are on the other YouTube channel, Out the Box Media. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Remember, you can catch the show on the audio podcast platforms like Spotify, Google, Apple. The audio podcast is there on those streaming platforms. Just look for Out the Box Talks, and you can get the high quality audio of the episodes. All right. So yeah, man, let me move right along and bring along my guests that I have of the show today. They are actually two MCs that are hailing from the city of, the area of South Carolina. I actually found out about them for the first time back in January of this year with their new album, Supreme Talk, which is available on Bandcamp and digital streaming platforms. So yeah, man, it was dope when I found out about it because it came out like late January, like January 25th to be exact. And on first listen, I was definitely intrigued by the music, the soulful boom bap vibe that it gave off, as well as the thought-provoking lyrics that the album has on display throughout the project. So yeah, man, if you have been checking out this platform, you know how important I feel, that kind of hip hop is to the culture. And, artists who take their time to put thought and substance and a message in their music. And these artists have definitely done that with this album. So yeah, we're gonna talk to them in a little bit, just a little bit more about the album. It has a variety of producers that have contributed to the album as well. So yeah, we're gonna get into this. I want to thank y'all again for being here for another show. And I want to welcome these two dope MCs to the platform. Welcome my brothers, Jorai and T-Nyce, to Out the Box Talks. What's good, fellas? What's good? How y'all doing?
Blessed, man. We here. We
Yeah, I'm good,
blessed.
man. How you?
I'm good. I'm good, man. It's a pleasure to have y'all on the show. You know, of course, I want to talk about this new album, Supreme Talk, which came out earlier this year. But before we even jump into that, you know, I would like to get an idea of, what inspired each of you to get involved with music. What made y'all want to take MCing seriously?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll go first. For me, man, just the when I first got into hip hop, the idea that you could tell your story in a format that could reach so many people and that so many people could relate to what you
Yeah,
were saying, no matter where you were from or no matter your history. Like you could speak to how you're living your life and what your life is like in a creative way, and somebody else will be able to hear it and kind of understand, even if they're not from where you're from or even if they don't have the same background. So that always intrigued me. And the writing part of hip hop, the poetry, the creativity, and how you deliver your message, man, it just, when I first heard it, I was so galvanized by it. I wanted to make it. You know what I mean? I wanted to tell my
yeah,
story and put my stamp down. Yeah,
yeah.
Beautiful,
That's true.
beautiful, man. Go ahead, T-Nice.
That
And
is
I
true.
forgot to mention that. So that was Jorai that was just speaking for
yeah.
those people
Yeah.
listening via audio. And now got T-Nice. Tell
What
me
up?
your
What up?
journey, bro.
Man, music always been a part of me, man. Just itself, like just growing up in NY, man. In the summertime, man. I remember when Wu-Tang came out. Like the summers was crazy back then. Like Jay grew up a couple blocks from me, so we always loved Jay. But like, what put me like that's where I fell in love with music was when I heard Illmatic. Like the first time I heard Illmatic, everything Nas was spitting on that joint was you step outside, you see it vividly. Like it was like a vivid picture, like from everything, man, from this life. And I fell in love with it. I want to say that Illmatic made me fall in love with it, and just being around it, the culture when New York had the scene on lock in the 90s and 2000s, just growing up in that environment, man, it made you want to just be an artist or be one of them artists and stuff like that. It was just the love of hip hop. I always fell in love with it. Always back to video music box days.
Yeah,
Just waking up. Yeah, just waking up in the morning, man, and it's like this vibing, man. De La Soul, Charcoal Quest and all that. Seeing all that, I just basically just fell in love with it, man. And from then on, I always just it's been a part of me. It's been a part of me, man.
that's wonderful, man. And I forgot to mention that yes, T-Nice is a native of
Yeah,
Brooklyn, just
yeah.
like me.
Brooklyn, Williamsburg section, Williamsburg projects, man. Shout out to my whole crew up there, man. Everybody, it's always love when I go back home, man. That's just the foundation of it all. You hear all my projects, I always speak on it, I talk on it. That's what made me who I am today. Williamsburg projects, man. Brooklyn, NYC.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. Tell me how, coming from New York, you know, going to South Carolina, what was
Yeah,
that change like for you
it was
as just
crazy.
as a person coming from the birthplace of hip hop, right? And then,
Exactly.
just adapting to this whole new environment.
It was different, man. A huge culture shock as well. On the music diaphragm was different then. When I moved down, man, all my boys and stuff, they was listening to the Hot Boys. I'm like, Hot Boys, listen to this is my beat, man. Check them out. This is Wu-Tang, you know. I mean, I'll go, oh, this is CNN, Capone and Noriega, like Super Thug, like, and they're like, who this? I like, oh, this is what I'm on. This is what we on. So it was different. I had to get a adjusted to it, but in the long run, musically wise and being an artist, it was, I take it as a blessing because I adapted to all music. I listened to all music from there. Like, yo, listen to Hot Boy, yo, listen to MJG, 8 Ball, yo, like, we got this group right here, so and so, like Outkast, like, okay, okay. So I had a blend of both music backgrounds, and I fell in love with it. But it was different moving down south at that time when New York just had it on lock. The North had it on lock, music wise, and moving south, and you hearing all kind of music that was different from like Trick Daddy and Master P, No Limit. Like that was new to me. But at the end of the day, I respect the music culture. I respect all artists. It was just dope just to experience that and all.
Dope, dope, dope. So talk to me about how you two first met and actually came together as
Yeah,
musicians or artists to work together.
yeah. I,
Yeah,
I can start from that one.
you
I'll
want to
let
start? Go
Rod
ahead, go
start. No, 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 no. You got it, Rod. I'm following up.
ahead.
I'm gonna
Nah,
follow it up.
it's interesting too, like what T-Nyce was saying about coming down south with the music, because I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, but my musical influences was like the Fugees and Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, Native Tongues.
Right.
So me and my people was running around here playing that music. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah,
it's funny because we was like outcast to a lot of people's here because we wasn't playing Master P and Hot Boys. We were playing Fugees and Redman and Big and
yeah,
all of that. So it's just it's the cultures. They most people think they clash, but they really fit together kind of like a puzzle. And that's how me and
yeah,
T-Nyce came together.
yeah.
Actually my wife's best friend married T-Nyce's brother. So I was doing music and giving music to him. And he would always tell me, yo, my brother Rhyme, you should check him out. You should check him out. So I think I got the first project, I think it was In My Lane, the first joint. And I
Yeah,
was like, yo,
classic.
T-Nyce dope. So
Yeah,
we
classic.
collaborated from there. So that's how we hooked up. And that was like, I don't
2000,
know,
2006,
like
2007.
2006, 2007,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
crazy like that. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So we've been working ever since. He's my projects he's on. I'm on his projects. We just been putting it together. We always do at least two or three. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah,
Wow. So I have to say that this is actually my first time hearing of both of you, right? So you
yeah.
telling me you guys have done projects together already prior to this
This
as well?
this actually the first project together.
Okay,
It's been long awaited, but we got
got
over
it.
almost we got over like probably 20 to 30 tracks together over the years, man.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Got
like
it.
he said, every project I had since 2013, he's been on, and vice versa. And he's more or less the guy I go to, man, when I know I got a hip hop track. And just to go back with how we met, man, it was like he said, everything was crazy. My brother's a hip hop head. You give him a quiz, he's not feeling nothing. Hip hop head. My brother always come to me with music, like, yo, T, man, so and so whack or so and so garbage. Like, I don't listen to that. So like at the same time, like he said, my brother was like, my brother do music, talking to Rod. My brother's like, yo, T, this dude Rod's nice. Like, man, he's hip hop. Like, it ain't a lot of dudes doing it like him. I was like, for real. So I had to check him out. And what's so crazy, man, we built a relationship since like 2006, 2007.
yeah,
I look
yeah,
at him more like a brother now. I look up
yeah,
to him musically. I look up to him. He give me motivation to get back and write and do this and that. So, we build a bond over, well, that's over 15 years plus now. And it's like a brotherhood. And this project, I don't know why we ain't come up with a project already. I mean, we always talk about it. We always making tracks, but this project just came out during the right time, man. And I'm glad it came out when it did. And you can't rush greatness.
Yeah, definitely, man. You
Yeah,
know, I was gonna ask y'all about because it's one thing to put out a project, but it's another thing to build a chemistry and a mutual level of respect for you guys to actually translate that even in your work and in the album. Talk to me about Supreme Talk, right? Like what inspired this what made this title fitting for this album, for your debut album together?
um, well, we had the song, and we were kicking around what to title the actual project. And Supreme Talk just came perfect because that's what we're doing. We're about lyrics. We're about speaking about what's going on in the world today and in our lives today, but from a supreme level, like not not to glorify anything negative. You speak about some negative things, but it's not in a glorification way. It's supreme. It's high level lyricism. It's high level thoughtfulness and high level content. It's supreme. It's the
Yeah,
highest you could get. And I think whenever me and T-Nyce collaborate, that's what is. I know when I'm working with him, I got to bring my A game with the pen because he always gonna bring his. So,
Mm.
it's when we work together, that's what it feel like. It feel like Supreme Talk.
yeah,
That sounds that's
exactly.
that sounds good, man. I like that. I like that. You know, it's I enjoy being able to ask questions to artists specifically about their music, right? From the titles to the art to the lyrics, all of that, because it gives me context to the meaning behind the subjects, right? So I'm glad that you shared that. Um, I wanted to ask you all, for those that may not know, like just to rewind back a little bit, what would you say are your two most important music contributions so far outside of this album? Like for folks that may not know, what would you say? You know, for if you wanted, if people wanted to go back into your catalog, like what would you point them to
Yeah,
first outside of
yeah.
Supreme?
For me, it's just the countless consistency I had over the years of many projects I dropped. 15 projects since I've been doing it since 2007. Like seriously, 2007. I was South Carolina Hip Hop Artist of the Year for 2 years in a row. 2014 and 15, won Album of the Year, won Artist of the Year 2016 as well, and that was a major accomplishment for me as well. Cause like I never wanted to be a rapper. I was just a hip hop fan. I played ball in my life, man. I thought I was going to the league. That's how I felt. And hip hop just came in the transition at a time where I was going through a lot of personal things at the time living in Atlanta, and I just picked up a pen and started writing. And that was my therapy, like it is to this day. So it's like the contribution to me, like how I feel. I feel like this gaining where I gained so many fans and so many followers. That's like, that's dope to me. That made me feel like, somebody is listening like you. You caught our music, you listening to it, you appreciate it. I like that. That brings joy to me as an artist. Yeah, we thought about the fame and this and that during the years when you're young and grinding, but you appreciate it more when you see the true value of it all, when it reaches out to somebody and it touches them in any kind of aspect of life, they can feel it. 'Cause I mean, we relate to anything. With my music, Jorai music, we relate to anything that goes going on in life. Anybody can relate to. So like, it reached one person to me, another person. That's like my greatest accomplishment right there. Like that's how I look at it. I've been doing it, like I said, 15 plus years consistently, and every project I do, I gain almost, a handful. I'm not saying a handful, but 100 more fans, and
Mm,
it just goes on and on. And I seen that through sales from doing sales because before the computer sales and everything start popping over, I used to be on the street hand on. Gerard could
Yeah.
tell you I'm hands on. I probably print up 5,000 copies. I'm hitting up the whole East Coast, up and down, from New York, Florida, West Coast, Cali, pushing it, pushing it. But now, everything changed with the internet, social media. It's hands on now. Music streaming. You can see your sales. You can put
yeah.
it online. I had to get adjusted to that as well. But I like them both. I like to interact with my fans and followers and listeners. But
Mm.
that's me.
Indeed, indeed. What would you say, like, if you had to name one or two, what would you say has been your most well-received music prior to Supreme Talk?
I would say the Blood of a Slave Harvard King series I dropped. I
Yeah.
did three projects of Love a Slave Harvard King. That right there got me just like worldwide national to me known. I was touching on places in United Kingdom. My DJ at the time, shout out to Magic Mike. Magic Mike was my DJ at the time. Powerful DJ up in Ontario, Canada,
Yeah.
Ottawa, Canada, and he's doing big things. But me and him, with the help of him, I won the awards. But we had the Blood of a Slave series. that's where I was getting national recognition from magazines, labels, independent labels here and there. And at that time, it was like a big buzz. I was pushing out 10,000 copies of the CD, and that right there let me solidify a lot of things to me that yo, this is real. Like you're an artist, keep doing your thing. And that's when I was pushing, like from 2012 to like present day where we're here right now. But the Blood of a Slave series, that was like my most powerful, like let me just feel like, yeah, this is it. Let's go. You ready? And me and my man Magic Mike, up in Canada, we dropped three of them. We dropped three projects, Beloved Slave 1, 2, and 3, the rebirth. And
Okay.
during that span while we was dropping them, I dropped four more EPs. I dropped EPs in the span, month after month after month, the color series. That was dope. I dropped that with Magic Mike. At that time, it was just rolling. Everything was going on, and that was like a big, like my biggest moments right there as an artist.
Nice, nice. Jorai, what about you? What would you say have been your most well received music? And it doesn't have to
Um,
be projects, it could be songs too, you know,
yeah.
individual songs.
Um, the most well received project, I think, if I wanted to point somebody to like, yo, this is Jorai, it would have to be this album I did called Blue Collar Superstar. Um, just because
Yeah,
the title is Blue Collar Superstar, and it's a document. It's like a documentary about my life, like
Mhm.
things I was going through at the time. Um, just about taking ordinary, what people call ordinary things, and making them extraordinary. Because in hip
yeah,
hop, a lot of times it's about flash, it's about trends, it's about boasting, and we kind of forget the everyday blue collar superstar people who go to work every day, raise their families,
Mhm.
might have a barbershop, might have a car wash or something like that, and we don't celebrate the people who just grind and just work and they move in silence. So that was a project that I put out, I think in like 2017, and it got me a pretty good amount of recognition, and people started to pay attention to what I was doing and what I was saying, just about how different it was. So if I had to point somebody to one project in my catalog, it would be that. If I had to point them to one song, um, I did a song called Push, off
yeah. It's
of
my
my
joint.
Success album from 2013, and we shot a video, and that's the song is just, it's basically about my wife and about how no matter what you're going through in life, you got to push through, and it's real descriptive, and a lot of people like that record. So
Yeah,
it might be Push, and then the Blue Collar Superstar for the album.
push.
Yeah,
You have to hit that push.
you gotta hit the push, man.
Dope,
Uh,
dope. And are these projects available on digital streaming platforms, or is it just like on Bandcamp?
Yeah, it's on. Just look up Jorai on Spotify. Anywhere you stream, I'm there. Blue Collar Superstars there, Push is there. And if you want to get it off Bandcamp, you can go to my website, truejorai.com, and it's on there too. Yep.
Dope. What about you, T-Nyce?
yeah, the same as well. Blood of a Slave series. Just Google it up. All music platforms, Bandcamp as
Yep.
well, and then you check it out. All my projects from 2012 up.
Dope, dope. You know what's so interesting? Like you guys are talking about, like I know T-Nyce, you were talking about like receiving awards, South
Yeah,
Carolina artists, like you know, it's like surprising to me how you could have traveled the world and so many people
yeah,
know you, and like I'm now first getting to know
yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
you know that
how
every
music
day,
is
like
like, you know, yeah,
every day I gain a fan, and that is love off of mouth, word of mouth, and just spreading the love, the word and stuff like that socially. So
yeah,
that's dope to me. How we meeting together and stuff and
right, right.
chopping it up.
And I also appreciate when artists who have like, you know, received a certain level of, you know, notoriety and people
Mm.
know about them all over the world. When I say to them, look, I didn't even like, I had no idea, you know, and they're like, you know what, they cool about that instead of being
Yeah.
like, yo, how come you don't know me? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many artists out here. It's extreme
Yeah, man.
for
I'm
me to
humble
say
with it. I'm
everyone.
humble with it, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
real humble.
word, word. So the production on this album is very boom bap and soulful. I think that was like the one thing that clearly came across to me and
Yeah.
what was intriguing to me as well. So tell me about the producers on this project, because I know there's like a variety of producers. And how'd you guys go about selecting the beats to formulate this overall sound that we get?
Yeah, you know the overall sound, man. That's just me and Rob, man. We boom bap. You want to put it in that say, but boom bap,
Yeah.
soulful. I love it. Anybody can tell you about T-Nyce? Throw me a soulful sample. That's me all day. I could express myself better on. I love it. But that was the aim for the project. We got various producers on there. Some that I work with personally, some that I didn't, that I reached out to, and they knew the feel. They heard the music over the years. I had them on previous projects, a couple of them, and they already knew the type of feel I was looking for, me and Jorai. So we just kind of, be real with you on this project. We finished this project in a month. We went through it in a month, and
Yeah.
and it was always kind of this in pace. Like we had the beats, we knocked it out in a month. We was gonna drop it Christmas week, was so funny, and we pushed it back to January, and it just came out perfect. But we we just kind of aimed for that real hip hop, that I'm gonna say conscious rap. It could be put in that category as well, but we just kind of aim for that boom bap feel, that real life 90 feel type music, and I think it came out pretty good. I think it came out pretty good, man, for our first project, Rod. And the
Yeah.
Supreme Tour 2's coming soon. No date, but it's coming
Oh, we
soon.
got y'all already y'all
Yeah,
have plans for a part two. That's
yeah,
dope.
yeah.
Dope.
It's coming soon.
So talk to me about the sequencing of the project, because when you are working with a number of producers, it's kind of difficult to
Mhm.
get a cohesive sound. And I feel like the sound on this album is somewhat cohesive. Like, you don't, to me, none of the beats sound out of place, in terms of what we're getting throughout the project. So who was responsible for, you know, sequencing and picking the right beats that would, you know, fill out the album?
Well, it was definitely a collaborative effort, but I like the sequencing part because I'm from like the De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest
Mhm.
era, Gangstar, where your albums they told a story, and so when we were picking the songs for the project, the kind of thread with the Supreme Talk is it starts with the times, and the times is we use the intro from Clockers, and if you know the movie Clockers, it's the guy sitting on the front of the in front of the I guess the bodega, looking at what's going on the block,
Yeah,
and the camera pans to everything going on the block, and they're rapping about it, and so this whole project felt like that to us, like we got a bird's eye view of what's going on in the world and in our lives. So you start off with that, and then from the rest of the project, we're hitting on things that are happening like in real time. So Supreme Talk is the time Supreme Talk, and then you got Reminisce, where you think about how things used to be, like what
yeah,
you had, and then you go to Little Joe, where T-Nyce is telling a story about something that really happened. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And so before it's done, all of these songs, they fit in a space where you can start from the beginning of the story and you get to the end of the story with Life's a B, where we kind of talking about where the world is, describing the times in the beginning, and then where we are at the end in our lives. So, you know, it's put together so you can follow it. And by the time you get to the end, you're like, oh snap. Like I just went on a journey. You know what I
Word,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Wow. You just answered a lot of questions that I was going to try to get into, specifically in the interview, but I'll still go into it
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
we can go there.
details.
Yeah,
But I'm glad that you broke it down like that, man. You know, you talk about the opening track, right? The Times record, and
Yeah.
we hear the youth kind of rapping at the beginning. Can you tell me why you chose to open with that specific excerpt from the movie?
It's dope. We both like the movie. we
yeah,
had the
yeah,
we had the beat. Just the reality of what it is we had the beat. And the beat has a long intro. It's like a long build up. And so we were trying to figure out what to put in the build up. And I know Clockers is one of my favorite movies, and I didn't
Yeah,
find out until this is one of T-Nyce's favorite movies. So
yeah,
I'm watching the movie, and I got to that scene. I forgot the scene because I think it's like right in the beginning. Like I forgot it was
yeah,
even there,
Right,
and I
right.
was like, "Yo!" And the way the dude was rapping, I was like, "Yo, that fit like that fit
yeah.
perfect
It did. It
for the
did.
joint." And then when you couple that with what he's doing and what we're talking about in the song, it fit perfect. So yeah, man, it
Talk to
came
me.
out great.
Talk to me more about what fit, because you just said, that fit. Like, what was it about it that fit?
For me, he's describing, he come off with my name is Mo. And don't you
And don't
forget,
you
like
forget it.
he's describing what he's gonna do and what his life is like in
Mm,
his current situation, right?
Yeah,
And so what me and T-Nyce were talking about when we wrote this particular song, we were talking about, and I know for my verse specifically too, was talking about exactly what my life is like in that day. You know
mm,
what I mean? Like
mm.
it's not, it was literally how I felt in the moment. I heard the beat. I was like, man, what am I gonna talk about? I'm just gonna rap about how I feel in the moment right now. You know what I mean? And so that's what he was doing. That's what I was doing, and that's what
yeah,
T-Nyce was doing on his verse. So it
yeah,
it just it just fit perfect.
Got it.
yeah,
Got it. Thank you for breaking that down. So, and I'm gonna go through some of the lines that I hear on the album as
Yeah,
well. Uh, but staying with that track, the times, Jorai, you say, I think it's like one of the first verses on there, or it's like in the beginning somewhere. You say, when it comes to hip hop, we got to be careful how we use it.
yeah.
From your perspective, why is it important for us to be careful with how we use hip hop music?
Because um hip hop can change your life, but that life change is not always a positive one. And I think that line was coming right off of the young Dolph line. So young Dolph had passed like the day before I wrote the verse.
yeah.
And I wasn't familiar with, rest in peace to Dolph, by the way. I wasn't familiar with his music. I wasn't too familiar with his story, but I know the way it ended was sad. And the thing that brought everything together for me, that made me feel like, I guess, like a weird little kinship to it, is even though I wasn't familiar with his music, he was hip hop. And so the line came where I know hip hop and I know we have to be careful how we use hip hop, because hip hop can change your life for the positive. But if you're not careful, it can also have a negative effect if you get to a certain place,
Exactly.
but you can't trust the people that are around you. And so you could use the influence of hip hop to uplift, and it could put you in a good place and allow your people to be in a good place. But what I was thinking when I wrote that line was, it's a tool. We just have to be careful how we use the tool that is given to us, because it's an honor to even be in a position to do this music, whether you get fame or notoriety from it or not. Everyone can't tell their story in a way we can tell our story with hip hop. So we have to guard that, and we have to respect the way we're using hip hop to benefit us. You know what I mean? So I love hip hop, and gotta be careful how we use it though.
Wow, that
That's
is
real.
very well said, man. I got to give it to you, man. And the fact that you said it's a tool, when you think about tools, right?
Right,
Yeah,
Almost every tool you use, you got to be careful how you use it. You could damage some stuff with the tool, but you could also build up some stuff with the tool,
right.
so I like the analogy with the tool, and using that as a reference of being careful, you know yeah.
yeah,
So uh also on that track, Jorai, you say you have a line where you say, if art imitates life, then you made a mark.
Mhm.
Explain the significance of that line and how you would like to see your art best imitate your life? And you could also answer that question too, T-Nyce.
Yeah.
Um, when I first got into hip hop, I believed everything that I heard. You know what I mean? I believed everything that I heard. I heard Lauryn Hill. I believe what she was talking about. You know what I mean? And so to me, the best art is the art that comes from a real place, that
Mhm.
comes from who you are. And if you're in tune and astute enough, you can hear when someone is not being real, or because there's certain things somebody is gonna say. Like we talked about when we listen to Mobb Deep, right? So I listen to Mobb Deep, and I know they're from Queens. I know they're from Queensbridge, and I know that what they're describing is something that they lived through, something that they were around, because you can tell about how they say it. So the art
Yeah.
that they were making imitates their life. And
Yeah.
that's whether you're, in the streets, gangster lifestyle, or regular like me, 9 to 5. Like what I'm writing about is my life. That's how you make your mark, because that's what makes you unique. No one else is like you. So if you tell your story in a certain way and your
Mhm.
art that you're telling imitates the life you live, only you can do that. So if you can have an impact doing that, you'll always make a mark on somebody else's life. You might not be Jay-Z, but you'll always be able to affect how somebody else lives, because you're telling your story in a truthful way.
That's
The way we
real.
get off track is when people try to act like they're one thing and we know that it's not really there. But if your art can imitate your life, then you're gonna impact somebody.
Well
Indeed.
said. Well said. And how do you how would you would like how would you like your art to best imitate your life in terms of your vision for your art?
Man, I just wanna what I've been on lately is legacy.
Mm,
So I just want to be able to tell my story, because the reality is, I'm not gonna always be here. I got a
Mhm.
wife, I got two daughters. So when I'm not here, I want them to be able to listen to my music and be like, yeah, that's really who he was, or
mm,
I remember when this happened. You know what I mean? And I want my legacy to be able to be followed through my music, man, because that's what's really important. Because you can't take your money with you, you can't, you know, take your car, your house with you, but you can leave memories behind for people that matter and for people to carry on. So that's what I try to do, and I'm always conscious of that when I make music. No matter what I'm talking about, I'm thinking about like, yo, what kind of impact is this gonna have when I say it, and am I gonna be able to stand that up next to my life, and people be like, yeah, he said that, but that wasn't really what it was.
right,
Like,
right.
nah, that's really what it was. So
Yeah.
that's what I want my music to do, man.
Wonderful. What about you, T-Nyce? How do you see your art best
Yo,
imitating your
Jorai said everything out my mouth just now. Now, but same here, man. Like you said, legacy. I have two kids as well. My son and my daughter. Man, we ride everywhere. Play T-Nice. Looking at them, play T-Nice. My daughter rapping my song. So just that right there, let alone is like, yo, okay, this is like a legacy. Like they could have forever memories. But like it's just the passion with it all, man. I, this is dope to me. Oh, Gerard said it all. Gerard took everything out of my mouth.
My bad,
No,
man.
no, you good. Nah,
That's cool.
that's why we rock, man. Me like the
That's the
same
chemistry.
person, man. Me and him like the same person. I could come to him for anything, and
Yeah.
it's just like this, music or life, anything. We like that.
Right,
But
right.
everything, yeah,
So it's cool that you said family, T-Nyce, because on the self-titled track, the Supreme Talk track,
yeah,
T-Nyce, you have a line where you say your kids be your peace. Through
yeah.
these bars can't define fear. Can you give clarity on what you actually are getting to with that line?
Like I said, man, my kids will find peace, man. Do these bars can find fear? It's like more or less my kids. I could have a stressful day. I could just be doing my mind everywhere. But when I see my kids, man, I walk through that door, everything is out the way. They give me that peace, man. It's like the hugs, the kiss, daddy. It just brings me back into myself. And and then like when I said through these bars, man, you can define that. It's like you can't you can hear it through, you can hear it in my music what I go through in life, and it's just real, but you can't see it only through the bars and stuff. Like behind the bars, you can vision it all. And what I go through daily. But when I see my kids, they just let all that everything just clear everything out. My peace. It's
Mm,
peaceful.
wow. Dope, man. Dope, man.
Oh
So
yeah.
the self-titled track as well, Jorai, you say went from a king to a god, but don't know how to be a man. That was one of the lines that jumped out at me. I was like, oh, here you go. He in his lyrical bag here.
Always.
What is the underlying message of that line?
It's just a it's just a talk. Like it's what everybody says in hip hop. Like, yo, I'm a king. You know what I mean? And then Kanye with the I'm from a king to a god, you know what I mean? And it's
Mhm.
we we aspire to so much, but a lot of times we miss the foundation. Like you can't be a king if you're not a man first. And those are the basics. Like if if you're really a king, it's certain things that you're gonna do. It's a certain lifestyle that you live. It's a certain way you carry yourself. And 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 just to be, I'm trying not to go crazy, but just to be like real, dog. No king has to tell you he's a king. You
Yeah.
know when you see a king that they're a king. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it speaks to the hubris of man to think like, oh well, I'm a king already. Now the next step is a god, and it's like, bruh, you can't make sure your kids get to school on time. Like
Yeah.
what are we talking about? And so that's what that line was based on, like how we all aspire to certain things, but we lack the foundation to make somebody else say that about you. You know what I mean? Instead, if you got, my grandmother used to say, if you got to say it about yourself, then it's probably not true. But if
Mm,
other people are talking about it, then that's something you could take to the bank. So yeah.
Yeah.
yes, man. Words of wisdom, brother. And I love it how you drop it in jewels in the album as well. So, you know, I want to go back, jump off the lyrics a little bit just to talk about the construction of the album. Like, how'd y'all actually record this album? Was it in the studio together or did y'all do it remotely?
That was dope. Like I said, we both got the in-house setup studio. So
Mhm.
what we did, we pre-recorded it. We do our own little mix and mastering, and we shipped it back and forth to each other. He shipped one night, boom, I get it, same way back and forth till we finally finished the project. We'll ride around to it with our own mix. Then eventually, we came up on one weekend, like in November, we knocked out the whole project in one day. Went to the studio and everything, recorded it, laid it down in like 3 hours, the whole project, and it was just beautiful from there. Like we went straight to the booth where we had the rhymes and everything memorized, the flow memorized, patterns and everything, and we went straight to the booth and knocked it out. So that's how we kind of just worked the project, the concept, and everything. It went pretty smooth like that.
Beautiful. And how long did it take again? I think you guys mentioned that earlier, right?
About a month and a half, about a
Right.
month
Yeah,
and a
it was about
half.
a month and
Yeah,
a half.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
finalizing everything, a month and a half.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. What would you say was the most memorable experience you had recording this project?
Mm. Most memorable, probably just kind of just working with my man Jorai, like we did. That's the first time we really kind of just locked in
Mm,
over the past 15 years. Cause he'll send me a track, I have it back to him in like 2 3 day turnaround, same with him. But me and him really got together personally, chopped it up, for hours, and we kind of just vibed off each other's vibe, and that was just dope to me to finally just connect with him over the past 15 years we've been doing music and really get to this vibe out and make a project together. It was dope. It was real dope. That was like the brightest, the spotlight for me anyway. That was the spotlight for me to really work with him this time.
dope, dope. So the
Yeah.
other thing about this album is it has a few meaningful skits on the project, and I love when I can hear albums where it's not just the lyrics and and the beats, but there's another component in skits which help to complement the project, right? Can you tell us what the overall message you all wanted these excerpts or these skits on the album to offer to the project?
Um, Fife, man. Just the influence of Tribe, the influence of Fife for me is very impactful. Like I wouldn't be who I am in hip hop if it wasn't for Tribe. And what Fife brought to Tribe was the gutter, like the grungy element, but still keeping it highbrow. Like he's gonna give you the street, but it's not gonna be the street in the way that you expect. He would muddy ranks, you know what I mean? So for me, that was when I found that interview with Fife, and it complimented the song Before It's Done song well too. But like, and I got my man DJ Ambush to do the beat for it.
Yeah.
But it's just for me that was important because I never had a relationship with Fife. I had a relationship with him through the music. But T-Nyce, he could tell you the story too. He actually had a relationship with Fife. So
Yeah.
that is kind of brought us together a little bit.
Yeah, Malik, man, you know, rest in peace, Malik. My first cousin is actually grew up in the same neighborhood with Malik, and you know, over the years, man, he might pop up for a random Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm little at the time, you know, as the dude on TV, video music, like, yo, you know, bugging out, and
Wow.
I finally met him. This will make me start doing music series as well.
Wow.
2011, I met him down in Atlanta for a week, and we chopped it up. Me, him, Jorai, all of them, Ali. It was his 40th birthday party in Atlanta. He celebrated at the time, and my cousin linked it up. We chopped it up. We talked, and that was, look, you know what's so crazy? In My Own Lane, Volume One, that Jorai talked about. He got. I threw that to Fife, like, oh, Fife, checking out. I'm doing music now, this and that. So I ain't hear from him for like a week or two, and everything. You know, time to settle off and all that. He shot my cousin an email like, yo, tell your cousin to keep doing this thing. And that's all it was said. And from there on, I just kept on running with it. And you know, God bless his soul, rest in peace. We supposed to link up again, and during this time, that's when he transitioned and passed away during this time. And you know, just that motivation, let alone from Fight, just to like, yo, keep doing your thing. Like it was dope. He gave me a lot of wisdom, a lot of words. When we chopped it up on his birthday, showed a lot of love. It was just a dope experience. And that's why I really started taking this serious after like those conversations with him and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, that's so dope, man. Like,
But yeah,
you know, his we got a chance to hear his posthumous album,
yeah,
you know, that came out recently, man. I'm just curious, you know, being on the topic of Fife, like how did y'all feel about the project? And you know, just like I like when I heard it, when the day that it actually came out, like I definitely checked it out right away, man. But you being an actual Fight fan, Jorai, and you also T-Nyce, you know, having
yeah.
that relationship, like, you know, like how did y'all feel about the project and just his legacy, you know, after his passing?
Well, it was dope. When Gerard told me, yo, Fight got an album coming out, like, for real. I hit my cousin up, asked him about it. He said, yeah, it's coming out. So I was ready to hear it. I think I listened to it that morning at work. And the minute it came on, it just kind of put me in the vibe, like, yo, is he still here? Like, this is crazy. Like, yo, when he record this? I'm like, and then I think it was the production that put it like he was still here. It was like vivid. So I'm listening to him ride, and it's brought back, you know, like a lot of memories of Tribe, memories with him, and just the overall concept, and of Fight Dog, who he Tribe Quest, who what they brought to the game. It just felt good for the moment. I think I wrote to it that whole weekend and listened to it and everything. Overall, the project was dope to me. You know, it was hip hop.
Yeah,
It just felt like it felt right at the time and stuff like that. And I think it was a dope project, man. It was a dope project, well put together.
definitely. I think it's
I
one of the
love
best
Fife.
projects of the year so far. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Go
It
ahead,
is.
Jorai.
I love Fife, man, and the production stood out to me. But T-Nyce is right. Like the title of Forever is perfect because
Yeah,
it felt like he was still here. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And the collaborations he had on there, the production he had on there,
Hmm.
and they used the same interview we used for the Supreme Talk. So that means we in the same
Yeah,
vein. You know what I mean?
yeah, they
So
did.
it's
They
just,
did.
yeah, it's try. I can't say enough about Tribe Called Quest, man. The influence they had on my sound, on what I know hip hop to be, is just, and Fife was a perfect representation of that. So rest in peace to Fife, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man. And speaking about that interview, that is on, your album as well as on that album, it's such a powerful message from Fife. Like, he's like saying exactly
yeah,
what I've always thought about, especially when you look at the climate of hip hop now, like,
Mhm.
but it's been like that for a while because
yeah.
he actually said it, like, why was it important for you all to have that message on the album in terms of what he's talking about, and you could elaborate a little bit more on what he's talking about and why it's important to hip hop as well.
Cause people don't listen anymore. And he knew it back then. And I think the reason it's important what he said is because who was the one who's saying it. Fife is from Tribe. Tribe is part of the Native Tongues movement, which them and De La Soul Jungle Brothers sparked was
Mhm.
what was called alternative hip hop. So it was supposed to be an alternative to the gangster rap and the stuff that was going on. So when you have somebody like Fife who's cut from that cloth, and he's saying, it's cool to do songs about partying, it's cool to do songs about drinking and the women because we all live that life. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you have to give people more than that. And it talks about the well-roundedness of who we are as human beings, not
Absolutely.
just being one-sided. And so to me, that's the key. Like, I call my brand of hip hop true life hip hop music because it's really my true life. It's
Right.
well-rounded. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it is great mountaintop experiences, and some of it is, yo, I'm struggling today. But people need to be able to see all of that. And Fife gave you all of that, especially on this Forever album. He even goes into his relationship with Q-Tip and the Tribe stuff. Like,
yeah,
he gives you everything. And a lot of times nowadays, people don't always do that
Mm,
because they chasing a trend. So
yeah.
I think that's why it's important for us to put it out there, because it's we want to be carrying that same torch that he was carrying.
absolutely. The other thing about his words on that track is it reminds me of something that I've heard a lot in hip hop, where you know and this happens a lot with the the stigma that conscious hip hop gets, right? Or or underground hip hop, or just thoughtful hip hop. I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't want to listen to that when I'm in the club," and I would always be like, "Yo, what fraction of your life is in the club?" You know what I mean? Like, even if you go to the club, it's not like you're going to the club every day unless you like literally work in the club. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I used to always like bug out about that. I'm like, "Yo, what are you talking about? Like, it's a small percentage of your life that's in the club." But if if rappers or MCs spoke about everything, like you said, real life, what happens in your real life in a given day,
mhm,
the music would reflect, you know, a lot of thoughtful lyrics, I think, right? If you just took the time to just speak about what happens in your life. But instead, and not everyone does this, but a lot of what we see in the mainstream or in the commercial media is this small fraction of what happens in one's life, and oftentimes that small fraction is something that's materialistic or something that is destructive at times, and I have no problem with artists who tell about, like, if you come from the streets, I think you got to tell your real what you really come from, but
yeah,
but you got to do it. I think it's beneficial when you do it. It's more beneficial when you do it from a place of like not glorifying it, a place of like
Yeah,
telling
exactly.
the all of it, right? Like the pitfalls and the challenges that come with that
Hmm.
lifestyle, and yeah. So I just wanted to elaborate on that, man. In
Yeah,
regards to that excerpt, man,
Yeah.
you know, it definitely resonated, highly in the scope of the album as well.
that's what's up. Appreciate you.
Indeed, indeed. So I want to go back to, yeah, let's talk about some more lyrics on the album.
Yes,
The
sir.
the hold on, let me make sure I got it. All right. Okay. So the track Reminisce, Jorai, you have a line where you say, the best to ever do it, you'll probably never see. They work that 9 to 5 and jotting lines
Like
like
me.
you. Yeah, like you said, like me.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest factor in why an MC could be so talented but never heard much or seen in this climate of hip hop music?
Marketing. Marketing. I mean, the reality of it is a lot of people who are signed to labels, they have big budgets to make sure their music gets heard and is presented in certain places. But there's a difference, like I said at the end of Reminisce, it's a difference between doing it for the love or the like. Like the best rappers are the rappers who do it because they love it, whether they get accolades or whether they get fame or whether they even get recognized. They do it because they love it. It's rappers that I know that you'll never hear about, and I think they are some of the greatest rappers I ever heard. You know what I mean? But they
Yeah,
work a 9 to 5, they work at UPS, or they, you know what I mean, working in a corporate office, and they rap on the weekends, and they go to the studio and make songs when they get a little extra bread. But it's an authenticity there that you're not gonna get from all the time from people who are quote unquote like the best to ever do it. And
Right.
that's what I think the key is. Like, why are you really doing this? And that
yeah,
having that verse on Reminisce, because when we first started doing music, T-Nyce too, like you didn't do it for fame or you didn't do it
yeah,
for recognition. You just wanted to
yeah,
make a contribution to the culture. And you
yeah,
just wanted to be looked at in the eyes of your peers as somebody thinking that you're dope.
yeah,
So, it's before sales, it's before any of that. So I feel like the best person, the best rapper, you'll probably never hear about the best rapper on a mainstream level, but you'll touch down in a city and you'll be like, yo, I rhyme, who the nicest rapper out here? Oh, it's my man from around the block, or it's old girl that stay, on
yeah,
Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah,
So
You know,
that's what I think that's about.
yeah,
indeed, indeed. And you know what's so interesting about the line is like, as real as it is, it's almost like an oxymoron in a sense. Like, you're the best to ever do it, but you've never been heard. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Yeah.
that's
I definitely was tooting my own horn in there.
I, I dig it. I dig it. That's what's up, man.
yeah,
Yeah, man. It's such an unfortunate thing, and I feel like I think we were talking. I was talking to you guys about this earlier. Like, in this climate of you know clickbait and people doing things for the algorithm, right?
Mhm.
Almost like you gotta dumb down your message, or use a certain dumbed down tactic to get people to hear the substance,
yeah,
right? I
Right.
think it speaks to that point of what you were saying with that line, the best to ever do it, never heard. But yeah, man, marketing is definitely a
yeah,
major factor. Unfortunately, marketing takes money, and
Yeah.
it's just part of the game, right?
exactly.
And some of the best people might just not have it, or not even just the money, but even the know-how of where to put
Mhm.
money to get the right marketing and all of that stuff. But
They
yeah,
need to talk to T-Nyce because T-Nyce knows how to market.
Yeah,
that's right.
I just learn as I go, man. So 15 years doing it, I just learn as I go.
Hey man,
It's
experience is a teacher like no other.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So T-Nyce, I want to ask you, the track Reminisce,
Yeah,
you know, you
real
you
personal
you
track.
guys both, yeah, just was getting ready to say, like, how
Yeah.
emotional was it for you to write that track? And how'd you guys decide on what y'all wanted to touch on the topic, on the track?
Man, that track was so funny because that was the last track we actually recorded and put on the project, and it almost was about to be left off due to the fact we was just trying to get the project out. We had this and that out, and I was holding the beat for like 2 weeks
Mm,
because I got just mind froze. Like I told Rod, I'm gonna get it, Rod. I'm gonna get it next week. I'm gonna get it next week. I'm gonna get it. And one night it just came to me, it just hit me. I hit Rob. I wrote that joint like 10 minutes. It just hit me. You heard it on the track, the lyrics and all that, reminisce. I did that verse dedicated to my mother, who I lost 2 years ago.
mm.
Um,
Sorry to hear about.
during this time yeah, appreciate it. During this time right now, I was losing her 2 years ago. So that track hit home personally because my mother she was my biggest fan.
Mm,
Always call me T-Nice. I had all my music, was proud to tell her friends and family, T-Nyce doing music, right? Who T-Nyce? Thomas. My government named Thomas, so it was funny. And that track just came to me. I felt the beat. I brought my daughter in the studio with me. She got a little ad lib on that track. And I just kind of reminisced about my mother on that track. All the vivid memories I could just put on that 16 bar that's right there. And I felt it. I listen to that track daily. And
mm.
Yeah,
it was dope. It came out dope. When I told Rod, I said, man, we both reminiscing about two different aspects. I hope it meshed in together. And when I laid it down, I listened to it. Like, oh, it came out right. It came out nice and everything. We're just reminiscing. And that verse was all about her at that time. And I miss her like crazy. But she's my motivation doing this music to this day. To
Wow,
this day.
that's
To this
beautiful,
day.
man. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to your mom, man.
Yeah. Appreciate that, my man.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
man. You know, in terms of the subject matter that you guys chose to speak about on that track, like you said, it's two different topics, right? You're talking about your mom, and Jorai's talking about something else. What dictated that? Was it the beat, just hearing the vibe of the beat,
Yeah.
or was there
The
something
vibe.
else that gave the idea for the topics to discuss?
More or less for me it was the vibe of the beat at the
Mhm.
time and the title, let alone reminisce, reminisce over you, my God. I was just
Mm,
like reminiscing. I was just had my eyes bopping and it just hit me at that time. I was just reminiscing about the times with moms and missing her and stuff like that. So it just came freely to me when I was writing it. It was just like almost I was freestyling it. It was just coming one two three. So for me it was just the hook, the beat and everything, and I just kind of went from there and lay the track down. But like I said, it's a real personal track.
yeah,
But that's me. All my tracks I put out is more personal and my life with a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people see me, they don't know what I go through or what I've been through or who I really am. I express it in my music. You listen to all my music, everything I've seen, everything I've been through, everything in third person view or what I know, I express it in my music.
yeah,
Everything's real, everything like nothing fabricated, and that's the good part about it. It comes out better and freely when you express yourself like that, when you keep it real. So that's how I
absolutely.
go. Me and Jorai had a talk well while we was doing the project. I think Jorai, you remember when I came out as T Burner.
yeah, I do.
And
I do.
T Burner
Yeah,
was the artist that Gerard was just previously talking about. You could listen to the music and he didn't live that life. That's who I was when I first came out 2006, 7, talking about murking cats and stuff like that. Yeah, I seen it. I've been around cats that done it, but that
yeah,
wasn't me. That
Mm,
wasn't me. And when I was rapping, it was coming out like I was doing it. But at when I really grew into an artist and really started expressing myself and the true me, it just felt better. It felt better coming out. It laid on the track better, and it's people relate to it more. People can
mm.
relate to it more and
yeah.
everything. So that was just me. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. You know,
I think
go ahead, Jorai. You was
I
gonna
just
say,
want to say this real quick on
yeah,
reminisce. I think it's important because we're talking about two different things, but the underlying thing we're talking about is loss
right,
and reminiscing on the loss that you experienced, like the loss of what hip hop is. Well, people don't even know hip hop anymore, and then you have some people who always hold on to the memories and the principles and the
Yeah.
loss that T-Nyce experienced by not having his mom physically here. But it's important because he's got his daughter on the track. And he even says in the song that, his daughter reminds him of her.
Come
And
on,
even
man.
though she is not here physically, what you never lose is the memory. You know what I mean? You never lose the memory of hip hop when you first got influenced by it. You're never gonna lose the memory of your mom. And so
Yeah.
and that's why Black Maul did the scratches on there, they reminisce over you.
yeah,
Even that song is about Trouble T Roy, but it's about the memories
right.
that you have after the loss. And if you can hold on to the memories and the things that are important, you never actually lose. You know what I mean?
Right,
True.
right, right,
That's
right.
true.
Yeah, just refresh me, Jirai. Your verse is about on that song. Is you talking about hip hop, right?
I'm talking about hip hop, yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah. The loss. That
Yeah.
makes sense,
Well,
man.
and one of the lines is, people don't even people say hip hop and now you don't know what it really means.
Mm,
Like you can hashtag hip hop on Instagram, and so much stuff comes up, and it's like y'all don't even know the principles. Like y'all don't even
Yeah.
know what hip hop is for real. But then you can find some people who are holding the torch because they still remember what it felt like to make sure before you could even go to the studio or before anybody could record in their crib, your verse had to be good enough for someone to want to bring you to the studio to lay your verse down. And
yeah,
the only way
True.
you can get that studio invite is when people are around you in the cipher. Your verse got to be fired. If it's not fired, then you're not even getting to the studio. And it's and those memories of the camaraderie, but also the iron sharpening iron that you have is kind of lost. You know what I mean? And so that's what I was talking about. And when T-Nyce did his verse about his mom, it was apropos because he's always gonna remember her, and he's always gonna look at his daughter, and for real, like she
Yeah.
looks like his mom.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Yeah.
even
real talk.
so.
Yeah.
He's always gonna have that, and so no matter, even though she might not be here physically, the fact that he has memories, the fact that he has stories, the fact that he has songs, and the
Yeah.
fact that he can look at his children and see the influence of his mother, it
True.
it never goes away as long as we can hold on to that. So that
Man, I
record is
gotta
is a big record.
that- that's a big one. Also behind that, I got a dope tribute video that I did for her, man. It's on
Yep.
YouTube. T-Nyce, Love Yours, or Dear Mom, Love Yours. And I mean Love is Strong
Yeah.
off the Reflect project. And it's a dope tribute to moms. And we shot that all day. My brother pops some kids in the video. And
Mm,
just check that out on on YouTube, T-Nyce.
Yeah.
Everything. Love is strong. Dedication to my moms and
got it, got
everything,
it.
man.
So, T-Nyce, you have a solo storytelling track on the album. You talked about it earlier, entitled
Yeah.
Lil Joe. Tell me, what you wanted the message of that story to convey, and how that's.
Basically, that was a true story about my man Hassan, whatnot, who I grew up with. Played ball and everything, man, back home. Every summer I come back home, we kick it, man, and trip and everything. He ended up going to Pitt to play ball. I just switched his name to Little Joe, but he was out there killing, doing his thing. Got caught with the wrong people, and life ended for him tragically and everything. And I remember when I first heard it, I was in the military, and it hit me hard, 'cause I was like, that's my man. So one day I was just writing, just first doing my therapy sessions and stuff, and he just was on my mind, and I just kind of heard the beat, and it was like a storytelling beat, and I just put two and two together and came up with the track. And Jorai was on there with the ad libs for me and everything. We was in the studio that day, and Jorai just kind of laced the ad libs for me, and a little hook in the beginning and the end. But it was more or less a personal track by my man who I was thinking about at the time.
Mm,
Stuff.
mm. Wow, yeah, man. You know that. what's interesting about this album is like you have almost like all of the elements of hip hop on this album,
Yeah.
right? In terms of specifically putting together hip hop songs, we got the skits, you got the storytelling records, you got the back and forth records. You know, it's just
Yeah.
everything is there, man. Like, was that something you all set out to do? Like, did you all, like you were talking about being well rounded? Like, was that something you wanted this album to convey? Like these different aspects
Yeah.
of an MC.
Indeed, yes. Of
Yeah,
course. Of
deliver.
course. Yeah. That's what we was aiming for. And we're just aiming for this that feel all around hip hop. And like you said, the back and forth. We was like, yo, you get first, I go first. Like, nah, whoever feels it, we're gonna go in.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Go in and just kill it. And it just came out just freely. Like I said, we was in the studio that day for 3 hours and knocked it out, and we had fun with it. And the way we put it together, it just kind of just meshed in together perfectly. Like it just kind of just like a puzzle right in. And every time I listen to it, it just like plays out like a story, like Jorai said, from the skits, from the bars and everything, plays out like a
right,
storyline,
right.
and then meshing together.
It was
Wonderful.
real organic, man. It was real. It's always organic when me and T-Nyce work,
Yeah,
but this one in particular, with the way we put it together, it happened real naturally, and that's a testament to like like you said, our chemistry.
Right,
Like tonight, that's my brother, man. Like
yeah,
I hit him or he hit me just to check in, not even on some music all the time. But when we
yeah,
work, that is what comes out because these are our conversations. You know what I mean? It's what we
yeah,
talk about. It's what we do, and we hip hop. So it happened real natural.
mm.
exactly.
What would you all say the song before it's done is about? Like, what meaning does each of your lyrics offer to the title?
Man, that's my favorite song on the whole project. Um,
Interesting.
that's my favorite song before it's done. We actually did that song like years ago. So
Yeah, yeah,
when what I wanted to convey, and I know T-Nyce wanted what he wanted to convey, he can talk about that, but just the idea that there are certain things you want to do before your time's up. So Fife passed away, and I was at T-Nyce has sent me the beat, and I think his verses was already on there. But like Fife passed, and I took my kids to the park. So I'm listening to the song to the beat on my phone, knowing Fight passed like the day before, watching my kids play in the park. And I just wanted to convey that like before we tap out, it's a certain things we wanna get to. And so I start off talking about the first time I ever heard Tribe was Midnight Marauders album, 1996.
Mhm.
And I remember sitting in my best friend Luther, he had a blue Omni, taking the cassette out, getting ready to play it. You know what I
mm,
mean? And the verse I'm kind of shouting out different songs on there. But and then I go into because I lost my cousin Kashif, who is the biggest influence in me doing music at all. Him and Fife, they pass in a similar way.
Mm,
So um I remember Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders, my favorite Tribe album. And I remember riding around with my cousin Kashif, him putting me on to different music. And both of their passings happened in a way that influenced me to think like, yo, before it's all said and done, we're gonna make it. We're going to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And the life that
yeah,
we live in, we're not living for IG posts or for um somebody else to point at and say, hey, that's cool.
mhm.
Like we're living for, like I said before, like a legacy. And
Right.
that before it's done, we're gonna accomplish that. So that's my
yeah.
favorite song on the whole project.
Yeah, he always said that was his favorite track, and just follow up what he just said. That's how the feel was for me. And the first verse was basically about one of my close homeboys to this day, who got incarcerated and stuff, and was gone for a while. Had kids out here, and I traced back to where we used to ride around back in high school and do wild stuff. to the day that he's locked up, and I see his kids and they look just like him, and I'm looking out for him and letting them know that they good and stuff, and I'm like wishing when he get out that may he do be a better man for his kids. And second verse as well, one of my close cousins who I lost out in Canarsie and stuff during that time got killed. I was kind of just talking about that, and his mother, who's also my first cousin, just letting her know everything's gonna be all right. Grandma's up in heaven watching us, she's looking down and
Mm.
stuff like that. So like before it's all done, man, just love yours, love your
Yeah,
people, just love your surroundings and do right. So that it was like that track went in perfect with both of us and stuff. It meshed in, and that's one of my favorite verses from Jorai as well too, because I like how he just came in with it, and
Yeah,
like he just was talking about his cousin Kashif whatnot.
yeah,
I heard about him through my brother. I think I heard about him from you and my brother, and
yeah.
I heard he was talented. I never got a chance to meet him. Just talented and everything, and I know that track was real personal for him, real
Yeah.
personal. But I just like how he just rolled the beat on that track, and how the beat switched up. He just came in crazy with it, like from the first verse, and that's
yeah,
one of my favorite verses, man. I love that track. Love
I
that track.
appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
definitely, man. Yeah, definitely dope track, man. Jorai, you speak on that track where you talk about obviously, Fife Dog and A Tribe Called Quest's Midnight Marauders album, having such a like big impact on your life. I think you said it changed your life, right?
Yeah.
Can
Oh
you
yeah.
ex- yeah, can you expound more on the depth of the impact that Fife and as well as that classic album had on you?
Well, all right. I'm gonna give you some quick background. I got into hip hop late,
Mm,
so I grew up in a not really strict, but in a very firm, I'll say firm, Christian household, right? So we couldn't listen to anything but gospel music until I was until I got into sixth grade. Then I got into R&B, Michael Jackson, all that stuff. But when I first got into hip hop, it was '96 with Fuji's The Score. My man Luther put me on the Fuji's. The same dude is who I'm sitting with, and he put me on the Tribe. And it was just the idea that even though they're from Queens, they were taking jazz elements and putting it in the music in a way that's very, very intellectual. So I love jazz music. So I
mm,
was a little bit familiar. My dad used to play the wordless or instrumentation and stuff. So when I'm hearing what they're doing production wise, it blew me away
mm,
because I didn't hear anything like that in hip hop. And I didn't know, and because like I said, it was '96. I was late to the party when it came to hip hop. I
mm,
didn't know that it was people even making music like this.
mm,
Yeah.
And when you couple that, the production, with the fact that they're not talking about they're not talking about killing, they're not really disrespecting women, you know, electric relaxation, like it was just different. And so it influenced me in a way where it was like, yo, like this is it was powerful for me. And the way Fife voice cuts through on on that record, and Q-Tip's production and the song selections, and like it was amazing. So when I first heard that, I was like, yo, I want to make that. Whatever that is,
dope.
I want to make music that feels like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so when I got interested in music, my cousin Kashif was also making music, and I started to make beats. So I would take my beats to him, and we would ride around and listen to my beats, and he would say this and that. And then when I started rhyming, he was like, "Okay, this is how you make 16 bars." So the Tribe Called Quest connection and my connection with Kashif are like almost like one and the same. And so that track talks about that. Perfect. It's like a snapshot of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like but tribe is tribe is everything. You know what I
Mm.
mean? To me, it's tribe. My favorite groups are Tribe, De La, and Outkast. You know what I mean? It
Yes.
probably Outkast more than Tribe and De La, just because Outkast talks how we talk in the South. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So
Right,
when
right.
I first heard Outkast, I was like, oh, them sound like my cousins. And they rhyming for real? Yeah, but that Tribe, that album is special, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you spoke about having prior knowledge of jazz, and I'm curious to know, like, when you heard hip hop over jazz, what did that relationship do for you as a music fan? Like hearing something that you had prior knowledge about the music and jazz, and then
Yeah.
hip hop being connected to it now. Like, what did that feel like knowing of jazz prior?
It made me feel like anything is possible.
Mm,
So like the thing that I loved about jazz is you can make music without any words, but the music without any words can describe exactly how you're feeling.
mm,
Yeah.
And when you put hip hop and poetry on top of that music, now you have the words for what the music feels like. And I was just unaware. Like I come from a gospel, I still love gospel music to this day.
mm,
So I come from a gospel background where um the music that you're making in gospel, it has to mean something. It has to make whoever's listening to it feel something. And
right.
I was under the impression that that's the only music that did that until when I got into jazz, it's like, yo, this jazz is making me feel something and it doesn't even have words. And
Mm,
then when I hear Tribe, it's like, yo, like they just put the words to what I was feeling already. So
right.
they, yeah. So
The feeling
it,
is even bigger now because
right,
you were
Yeah.
feeling it without words, and now with the words, it's just a whole other level.
it's a whole
Yeah.
nother thing, man. And that album, and when you dig deep into the album and you realize what Q-Tip was doing with the production, rhyming on 3/4 time with 4/4 bars. I mean, it's hard. I can't even do that. I don't even know how they were doing it. You know what I mean? So it's just it's real it's that deep for me. You know what I mean? And that Tribe album, Midnight Marauders, and they whole catalog really is, I mean, you got to study that. That's something serious.
Indeed, indeed. So, what's also really cool about that track is that the beat change up that comes in when your verse, when your verse is introduced, is so dope. Like,
Yeah,
and to
Yeah.
my understanding, the producer is P Soul.
yeah. Peace Soul on the track.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
how did that beat change up come about for him?
That was actually the producer I was working with at the time, 2017, on the Blood of a Slave Harvey King series I was doing. I came across Peace Soul and we got like 3 or 4 tracks together, and he threw me that beat, and it was in the vault. Cause I had 2 verses laid down already, and I'm like, oh, it will sound crazy on it, like dope. I got artists that I reach out to like all the time. So I sat there and I say, yo, Rod would kill this right now. So I send it to Jorai, and I want to say he sent it back to me ASAP, like that same weekend. I just heard him all over that track on that beat, just like it was just him. That was his. And like Pete Soul, the dope producer, when I got a couple of tracks with him. But
Mhm.
that when that beat changed, that I said, man, I get somebody to get on this one right here. I said, I think Rod get that one. And the way he killed it, man, to this day, that's one of my favorite verses. He says his favorite track. That's one of my favorite verses from him. The way he rolled that beat and came in with it, and how he
Yeah,
was spitting. And I knew everything, every bar he spit on that track, I knew was just real life. So I was just picturing it. I was listening. I was like, oh, let me want it back. Like
yeah,
he had a vivid picture on the whole verse. So
dope, dope.
that was dope how it came together.
So the beat change up was already like created like that,
Yeah,
right?
already on
Okay.
the beat, yeah,
Because the way
already on
it
the beat.
came across to me was like it like that makes it even more dope because the way
Yeah,
it came across to me like it was adjusted
nah,
for when Jarai's verse came in because Jorai it
uh,
pauses a little bit, like, and
It
yeah,
then
does.
Jorai says a few words. I think he says
yeah,
Midnight Marauders changed my life.
yeah.
He like talks a little bit and then he goes in. Like it was just a really dope
Nah, that
transition. Like,
that's how the beat was made and everything,
Yeah.
and he just wrote it perfect. He came in perfect on that one.
yeah, that's what's up, man. You see that's lyricism right there,
Yeah,
knowing how to ride, you know,
yeah,
a change up in a beat or a bridge section like the right way and have that
Yeah,
type of impact, man. That's
real,
what's up.
real,
Thanks for sharing that.
no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. So um the song Say the Word, right? You guys on, on a number of tracks on the album, you guys trade verses, sometimes you go first, T-Nyce, sometimes
Yeah.
it's the other way around. Like, talk to me about what the two verses are about in that particular song, Say the Word.
And that was also a personal track as well. It was basically what I was feeling at the time.
Mhm.
All the emotions I was going through at the time. The thoughts, the feelings. From the drinking the henny every night. Looking in the mirror, telling myself, man, get it right. That was a personal track, but I like I said, writing's my therapy.
Mm,
And when I wrote that track too, I wrote that track one, two, three. At that day, I was just feeling a lot of emotion, different emotions, but I wanted to put it in a view where other people could feel it and see that, yo, you're not the only person going through this in life. And
right.
like, I mean, everybody go through it. You got to bounce back and be strong. I mean, know your foundation, know what you stand for. So it was more or less I'm telling my sorrows, but then I'm also telling my strengths above it all, like how I overcame it and how I'm looking in this mirror at night, every night, talking to myself to get right. It was a tough transition on these past 2 years when mom's leaving me. So I was in a different space. So
Mhm.
I had to put myself in a different aspect, just think positive. And that track right there was more or less I love that track. Everything to it, it was real personal to me and everything. And I was just expressing myself at the time how I was feeling.
Definitely, definitely. You know, yeah, did you want to share about your verse on that one too,
Yeah,
Jorai?
let him. Well, yeah, because I had to listen to his track. Was so crazy. I'm not gonna explain it, but the first time I listened to his verse, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, oh snap. So I'm listening to it, like, and he like, yeah, but I was talking about hip hop. I said, what? I said, let me go back. Let me go back. When I listened to it the second time, it just made me like, oh, this is wild. Because at first I thought he was talking about a female. He
Right,
flipped it. He hit me with the common, like what Common did,
right.
whatnot.
Love
Yeah,
her.
so yeah, so like I said, I listened to everything. I'm listening to it. I'm like, yo, and when he said a particular verse, I'm like, oh, Rod, nah, Rod, he married. What are you talking about? Then when
Yeah,
he told me what he was relating to, I went back and listened to it over and over and over. I'm like, yo, this is crazy how he flipped it, man. Like it was dope. It was dope. Like he meshed it in together so perfect. That track came out perfect. And
yeah.
also before he go to help me, the video was out on YouTube. T-Nyce,
Yeah.
Jorai, State of Word. We shot that. That came out dope too, and
That's what's
everything.
up.
But
That's what's
but
up.
Rod, I'm gonna let you tell about that track, man. I want to hear it.
I was gonna
Nah,
also say too, like before you jump in, Jorai, like I was gonna say like the reason why I'm asking about these tracks specifically in terms of what you guys are conveying lyrically with it is because like what you said, T-Nyce, like there are some track like I think most of the music is easy to get, right? Like it's not
Yeah,
that when I say easy, it's not that difficult to get. But at the
yeah,
same time, there are certain tracks that you're like, it's you still gotta kind of like uncover, the
yeah.
layers of what's being said, which is also
Mm.
dope. Yeah, I think for lyricists as well. But yeah, go ahead, Jerai. That's why I'm asking about tracks like that. Yeah.
yo, say the word is special to me because like Tina said, I'm talking about hip hop,
Mhm.
and it's crazy because it's a Marsha Ambrosius sample, and
Right.
Yeah,
so Marsha Ambrosius is basically saying in the sample um that whoever she's talking to should be with her because of how much she understands, and she just wants you to say the word.
yeah,
And so at the time T-Nyce sent me the track, like I hadn't really done music in a while, and I was contemplating not doing music. And so, but I would dabble, I would do a feature here, I would dabble in some stuff.
Mhm.
And so the concept came to me because I'm thinking about Marsha Ambrosius as hip hop, and as hip hop saying to me, don't say the word, make it clear what your intentions are. Are you
Mhm.
gonna do
yeah,
hip hop or you not? Like what's gonna happen? And so I wrote the verse with that in mind, and with me talking about just talking about my relationship with hip hop. Like I start off by saying, I feel like you're the only one who ever knew me. No matter how I tried to hide the truth, you see it through me. Since early
yeah,
on, it's like a poem to hear you speaking to me. I can't leave you alone. You know what I mean? It's me personifying hip hop as a woman, like Common did, and I used to love her.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I even talk about how I'm writing this letter to explain exactly how I feel. Like, so I actually wrote the verse on a pad the way I used to write my verses, because it's not the same trying to talk to you through a screen, like trying to talk to somebody through the, like, it's all of those different elements of me talking to hip hop, and then me at the end finally saying, like, I'm gonna be here. I know what you need. I know what you want, and I'm about to take this thing a little bit more serious. And so then the hook at the end is like, I read it like her response to me, saying,
Mm,
"Oh, well, if you're gonna be here for me, then I'm gonna be here for you, and we can do this." Like, I even said the line, "You feel trapped with all these dudes mumbling in your ear." Like,
that's dope.
I played the verse, I played the verse, I played the song. I think I played the song for my brother, right? And my brother is like, he called me and he was like, "Bruh, what's going on? Why you ain't tell me?" I was like, "Nah,
You
it
told
ain't
me
that."
that too. I remember
Yeah,
you
I had
told
to
me that.
explain it to him. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he went back and listened. And it's funny because, like, everybody know I'm married. Like, it's not a secret. Like, T-Nyce knows. And like, my wife's best friend is T-Nyce's sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So I know when he's hearing the verse, because I didn't explain it to him. When he hearing the verse in the studio, he probably thinking like, "Yo, what's going on?" Like,
Yeah, I was like, hey, it's dope. It's real life music. It's dope, but hey,
yeah, I do that from time to time. I got a couple songs where I personify hip hop as a woman, because um we usually, like, where I'm from, you know what I mean, we cherish our women, we build them up, we try to make sure they taken care of, and I feel like we should do the same thing with hip hop.
Yeah.
So I thought it was apropos to do that. But yeah, I like that joint. I'm glad people got it.
nah, I got it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared it because, you know, like you explained it, because the line where you said looking through the screen, I was like, man, you know, of course, like right now we're looking at each other through a screen, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking
Yeah.
maybe he's talking to someone that he couldn't see in the pandemic, right? So like you threw me off there too, but that makes it
Yeah.
dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It makes it even more dope that I wasn't able to get it. That's why I love doing these things, because, you know, I'm
Yeah.
sure maybe if I would have listened a lot more, because I still, you know, got to listen to the album more, I probably would have eventually gotten it. But I love that type of stuff. I love
Yeah.
when the music is coded, right? Where
Yeah.
it takes some listens, and it takes some, you know, maybe asking questions. You know, I go to the Genius site often to go,
Mhm.
you know, to go check out lyrics and try to
Yeah.
decipher and make what I can of the music, because I'm a fan of lyrics like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
So I appreciate you doing that for that record, and you know, the other tracks as well. You know, when
Yeah.
you put those little messages in.
Yeah. It's cool that you asked that, because it's a jewel. Like, you gotta mind for the jewel sometimes. Like, because everything is not gonna always be explained. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
So but T-Nyce got stuff on here. I had to ask him, like, yo, because he got the verse on the Times where he was talking about the lady and the God proof and all that. And I asked him, I was like, "Yo, so
Yeah.
what does this mean?" And he told me the
Yeah.
situation behind the verse. So it's just, everything is coded, but if you speak the language of hip hop, then you kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
you gotta dig for that a little bit.
Yeah.
So you
Exactly.
you just made me think of another question, like, and maybe you could answer this. You know, you could answer this, T-Nyce. Like, if you had to name, like, or, you know, cite a line from this album, you know, or maybe a couple lines from this album, well, you could just pick one, like, you know, what would you say is the one or two lines that people most likely wouldn't get, in terms of, you know, it having a underlying meaning, or, you know, or just
Definitely.
a clever
It
play
def
on
it
words to
definitely
it.
definitely with the line Jorai just talking about this now. Tomorrow, Shorty had a body, but what I say was, see, look,
Yeah,
I got, me and Jorai go with this all the time. I got so many tracks. Sometimes I'll just be like, yo, I forgot about that one. But the verse that he was talking about, basically talking about my past, my ex, and how she, had a body beautiful and everything, the main attraction, but she wasn't God proof. And the meaning behind that was basically like her values, her core values. She had no values. She was for the streets and everything. And that was a line that stood out. And that Jorai asked me about. Another one, shoot, off top, I can't really think of one off top right now. Got so many off top. I kind of make it real clear as day on a lot of my tracks, but I got
Right,
some
right,
hidden
right.
gems. I got some hidden gems in there and everything.
Nice.
Right off top, I can't really think of one right now.
It's all good. It's all good. I just figure I asked being in the moment.
Yeah,
But
I know
yeah,
Gerard
man.
got some.
Yeah.
Nah,
So
That's why I say that's where I come from.
your whole verse on the last joint, Life's a Beat, is serious to me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, that
I
whole
wrote that. Yeah,
and modeling Nas and all of that, like that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's my favorite artist. Favorite artist, Nas, man.
nice, nice.
It's just, I mean, he just paint pictures in your head, man. It's like everything
Absolutely.
he came out with is like, oh, I see this every day growing up, like, and he's make it
yeah,
clear as day. And I'm gonna be cats. He's like, yo, you from Brooklyn? Why you don't like Jay? I was like, Jay, what you talking about? I love Jay. That's my dude. Jay's to come through the block, buy ices for everybody. But Nas is just that dude. And the same
yeah,
thing with Biggie. Biggie like, yo, you don't like Biggie? You like Pac better? Like Pac used to preach to me. Pac making like he teaching, talking to you. Biggie
Yeah,
was a swag street rapper that I
yeah.
love. Like Biggie was Brooklyn all the way. But Pac
Mhm.
just like preach to you, like, yo, you want to sit here and listen, like
They all
Biggie.
offer something special
Yeah,
yeah.
everybody. They
in
all
terms
offer
of
something special.
deliveries, artists. Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
all offer something special.
indeed, indeed. What would you all say is the definition of black noise from your perspective? Like, how would you define this term for this track title on the album?
So
That's
Black
Lil Ron
Noise,
right there.
yeah, Black Noise is so the guy who did the beat, his name is Black Maul. He's a producer from. He's actually from I don't want to mess it up. I think he's from Connecticut. But he's here in South Carolina, and I've been doing some work with him. And so I was in the studio with him working on that song. His production company is called Black Noise. So he was doing the beat, and I was writing while he's making the beat. And so it just, to me, Black Noise is black music. It's the noise that we make when we are expressing ourselves from our soul
Mhm.
in whatever form of music we take. So hip hop is the definition of black noise, but it's also jazz, it's gospel, it's drumming. It goes all the way back to Africa, and how we uniquely express ourselves through music in a way that nobody else on the earth can. So that's what the black noise title means to me, and that's his production company name. So shout out to Black Mall, Black Noise, and I like that joint. I actually was talking to him
Yeah,
about that song today.
yeah,
So
that's a
yeah,
dope one. That's a
Yeah,
dope
shout
one.
out to the producers, man. Because they I feel like their music plays a very integral part of
Yeah.
what we get from the
yeah.
overall sound of the project. Can you just like do you just kind of just name the producers on the album to just kind of shout them
Man, we got Black Mall, we got
out?
DJ Ambush who did the
Yeah.
Five Dog interlude. Um,
So
Piso,
Right.
who else?
Juno,
Juno.
uh, Sapuda, I think,
Yeah,
and
Shapuda. Yeah, that's Supreme Talk.
yeah, Supreme Talk, and I can't remember the name of the person who did the times.
Back
Yeah,
of my
Um,
head. I don't got the
yeah,
cover in front of me.
I see. I think it's no G beats. Yeah,
Oh
no,
no, Jabez. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you
I
got it.
that was my first time. I think I got it with him by like my last project, and I got a couple of beats and stuff like that. And it was my first time working with them.
Yeah,
First time.
I just want to say about the beats, T-Nyce, he picked the majority. He picked basically all of these beats, and
that's what's
so
up
he always has a great ear for
for the beat.
production. So I always be hitting him up like, man, like, you gotta throw me some of these.
Oh man, it's just what I be feeling at the time. You wait till you hear these tracks I got I'm working on now.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
wonderful, man. And you know, one thing I can clearly see you know, with just this interview, doing this interview with you all together, like your relatability and your chemistry and just that that love that y'all got for each other, it
Yeah,
definitely shows. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's probably one of the reasons why the album also translated so well, right? Because of
Mhm.
that that chemistry. So yeah, man, big ups to y'all on this project. It was
appreciate it,
definitely
Appreciate the
man.
love, man.
a
Appreciate the love,
pleasure.
man.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
real. Supreme
absolutely.
too. We Supreme Talk too. Some of the fall is coming. Trust me.
Yeah,
It was
I'm currently just in writer's mode right now. Dropping a project this summer, probably on my birthday, August. No guarantee, probably but August or September. I'm in
okay.
writer's mode right now. When I get in writer's mode, I know how I get locked in.
yeah,
Um, I'm writing 2 to 3 tracks a day. Like I wrote 2 tracks on my lunch break today at work. Just
Nice.
feeling it, just feeling it. But once
yeah,
I get locked in, it's a wrap from there. But I told Jorai, we're not gonna set no date for it. Knowing us, we always hit each other up when we work on our projects. Like, yo, I got a track. Like, I got a track too. And we shoot it to each other and go from there. Like it just comes together. So Supreme 2 Talk is definitely coming this year, put it that way.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm glad you said that because that was gonna be my absolute next question. Like,
So
what's
yeah.
next for y'all, man? Like, you know, yeah. So go ahead, Jorai. You could share what you got coming next as well.
Yo, I got an
Oh,
album.
he's working now.
I'm announcing it. I'm announcing it right now on Out the Box Media.
All
I got
right.
an album coming with my man DJ Ambush exclusive. We've been working on this album for a while, so I got 2 singles out right now. The first one is called Antithetic, with DJ Ambush, and the second one I just dropped, I think 2 weeks ago, called Nowhere.
Right. Right. We
Um,
posted that on the blog. Yeah.
yeah, and I appreciate that, man. I got videos for both of those too. But the next thing for me is that project. Oh my bad, with that project with DJ Ambush, man. T-Nyce is on there. I got a couple other features on there. I want y'all to be surprised. But
Yeah,
yeah, I got a. Me and T-Nyce did another special one on there too. But
yeah.
that's the next
Dope
thing
one.
coming for me, and I got a ton of music coming out this year. So just
Nice.
working, man.
Yeah, it was working.
Uh, when do you all expect to put out Supreme Talk 2? Is that gonna be in like the like next year or
Oh, it's
like?
gonna be this year. It's gonna be this
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
year.
yeah.
so y'all coming with
It's
it
gonna
It'll
be
be
this
again?
year. It's
it'll
gonna
be
Wow,
be
this
this
year.
year. It's gonna be
It'll
this year.
probably
It
be
might.
I mean
it'll,
interesting.
it'll probably be around the because T-Nice got a project dropping in August. We might do.
Yeah.
It'll probably be around the fall, maybe
Fall, yeah,
towards the
definitely
end of the
fall, but
year.
it's definitely gonna come this year. Definitely gonna come
Yeah,
this year. Yeah. No set
Got
date
it.
though yet. Check us back on check back with us in the summertime. We'll let you know.
I see you keep the momentum going. I like it. Yeah, man. And do y'all have any plans for like any like other plans promotionally like for the project? Like, do you guys see yourself going on tour or putting
You know
out
what?
videos and stuff like that?
I can speak a little bit on that part. On this project was so funny. This is the first project where I could say I didn't push as hard as my own past couple projects. We've
Right,
been pushing it socially, but not just like by word.
right.
yeah,
And what's so crazy behind that, it sounds crazy. We've been pushing it socially at this on from inboxes. Check this out. We see somebody. We've been getting a buzz off that from having interviews in Dubai,
yeah,
United
Oh,
Kingdom. A lot of people been hitting us up, like as like you hit us up with it,
yeah,
and for the interview. And that's the crazy part because we really haven't pushed it like we have with the previous songs or tracks
yeah,
or our previous albums and stuff like that. We just kind of just put it out there. Just like boom, here we go. Supreme Toy. I've been waiting for it, Jorai T-Nyce, but it's
yeah,
still been getting a buzz. So when we just running with it, we're gonna start shooting videos for it within the next couple of weeks. We're gonna shoot about 2 to 3 videos off of it, and we're gonna
yeah,
see where it go from there. Because once Gerard drop his project, I drop my project. We have that buzz going with Supreme Talk still. We'll probably get back on the stage performances and stuff like that. But that I mean, Gerard, he's the one that gave me one of my first performances too. That's why I was
nice.
like, since that first day, like we just linked up. Had a
yeah,
dope venue, dope crowd. And I rocked the stage with Gerard, and it was love from there. And I miss them days. I miss them days when
yeah.
me and him
I
used to
miss
rock the
them
stage
days
together.
too.
Me and him used to rock the stage together a lot of times, man. And I got a lot of fans off of that as well. But it's coming. It's coming. We gonna continue to push Supreme Talk year round. Year
Oh yeah.
That's
round.
what's up.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what's up, man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's awesome. You know, I just thought about this, and I didn't get a chance to ask y'all this earlier, but you know, being that y'all are based in South Carolina, when I hear about music coming from the Carolinas, is mostly from North Carolina. Like I hear about it. Like I got a lot of artists that I like that come
Yeah.
from North Carolina in hip hop. But I was just curious to know about the identity because I feel like North Carolina has an identity, like whether it be J. Cole or Little Brother or
Yeah.
Right.
the Justice League or whatever. Like I don't really hear too much artists coming from South Carolina, doing
Yeah.
this type of music. Can you speak a little bit more? And I know we're like wrapping up the interview, but that just
Yeah.
dawned on me. I said, let me ask about like the identity and
That that's
what
true
South
though.
Carolina
That is
represents.
true in South Carolina. You really don't see the hip hop scene big, especially in my area.
Yeah,
I'm in Greenville, South Carolina, upstate. A part of South Carolina.
right.
Jorai is like in the middle, Columbia, the state capital,
Yeah.
and from my area, you don't see it. You might run across your one or two or three or four artists that's
Right.
really doing hip hop, but they, like you said, they're not marketing themselves right. They're not promoting themselves right. They really get it out there. That the trap music or the other genres of music are overpopulating it. State wise, I've been around state wise. I've done shows here and there. I build with a lot of artists. You run across your artists that are doing hip hop, but like I said, the marketing is not like they're not promoting themselves to really push
Yeah.
it out there. So it's rare
Yeah.
that you see it. And I could say the biggest artist that South Carolina's probably have right now that's industry wise that to my knowledge as far as hip hop and dropping music like that is Nick Grant. He's from South
Yeah.
Carolina.
Okay.
So yeah, he's from South Carolina, and that's really the only artist I could think of vividly right now. Because
Wow.
I know a lot of local artists that do it that I built with during the years and connected with that does it, the hip hop and everything. But it, the state just overpowers with a lot of futures out here, a lot of futures, young boys and stuff like that, and it was no disrespect to that type of music because everybody got their own background, everybody got their
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
feel. I dig it. I listen to it sometimes, but I like to listen to music I can relate to. Like I
Right.
always be seeing questions pop up on Facebook and stuff, little random questions where if you had a 24-hour drive, would you listen to
Right.
this, and that? I'll be laughing at that because it be some artists on there like, damn, they can pick nobody else, but it be like be Future or J. Cole. I'm like, yo, I can't this is no Future for a 12-hour drive or nothing like that. So it's stuff like that. I can listen to you, but can I listen to you for like a whole day? Are you in my like
Yeah.
I'm the mood right now. I gotta listen to some real conscious or just some real life music. I
Right.
can't turn up every 24/7. But
Yeah.
but that South Carolina has them artists. They have them artists. I come across a lot who reach out to me, but it's not broadcast nationally or nationwide because it's they're
Yeah. Yeah.
promoting
Yeah.
and stuff.
And I
Yo.
have to say, like your sound is very similar to what I get from like the Little Brothers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
when I listen to this album, I feel like
yeah,
it's in the vein of what you would get from
yeah.
a Little Brother
I
album. But I
love
didn't want to,
I
I
love Little
can,
Brother.
right. It would
I
be
No,
love
easy for
when
me
you
to
said that,
oh,
when you said that was like, oh snap! I laughed. I was like, that's dope. I said that is
yeah.
dope because like I look. Gerard put me on Little Brother. I heard of him prior to me and
yeah,
Gerard,
yeah,
but when I first met him, he used to always tell me, "Oh, check this album, check that," and I just started listening. I was like, "Where they from?" He's like,
right,
"North Carolina." I was like, "North Carolina." Now I was familiar with Knife Wonder already and
right,
stuff like that, but Little Brother, I just seen him here and there. I just really never listen to him. And like
absolutely,
around 03, 04. I'm like, yo, they crazy. Like, oh, they
Yeah.
from North Carolina. But that area of North Carolina is hip hop. There's a lot of people in Raleigh, Durham that's hip hop. That
right,
area
right.
is hip hop in the area. I've been up there and they love hip hop up there. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Dope, dope.
Nah. I just to speak on South Carolina.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug. You know what I mean? My new single is called Nowhere, and the concept behind the single is the idea that when you tell people that you do music from Columbia, South Carolina, that's what people say, like, ah, you nowhere. You know what I mean? And that's been the consensus my whole career. Like, it's a lot of people in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina, that's doing great hip hop music, but the market here is when you from the South, there's an expectation that you're gonna sound a certain way. And
Mm,
so I'll never forget this. It's a short story, but like we was doing Jim Jones was going to be coming down, and he was auditioning people to perform open for Jim Jones in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so me and my other partner Sheem, who I used to do music with, we went to audition to open for Jim Jones. And so we finished doing our songs, and the judges told us that we sound too northern to open for Jim Jones. and I and that like that spoke to me in a certain way because I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. Like you don't get no more southern
Yeah.
than me.
Word.
And Jim Jones is from Harlem, New York. How in the world could you sound too northern to open for Jim Jones? But like the idea, the thing about being from here is I love my city, I love my state, I love being from the South, I love being from South Carolina. The benefit is we have experience with all types of music.
Right.
And if you're a black person in the United States, 9 times out of 10, somebody who you're related to has roots in South Carolina
So,
because Charleston,
yeah,
South Carolina, it was the biggest port of
yeah,
in the South to bring slaves into the South. So
Mhm.
some of your people are from here. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah, that's
it
true.
just is what it is. But the music scene is such here that if you don't sound like what's on the radio or what's mainstream or what's popular, then you don't always get the look
Yeah.
from the gatekeepers. You'll get the look in your community. You know what I mean? I have a lot of guys I do music with and ladies too. And we make dope music. But when it comes to getting the overall bigger look, is you don't sound like what who people think from South Carolina would sound like. So the single is called Nowhere because that's what I'm talking about. And I'm telling people like this is what it's like to live here. And even when you go somewhere else, you gotta come back and you come back to nowhere. So
Mm.
but the music
Yeah.
scene, T-Nyce, he's in Greenville. It's crazy. Like it's crazy that you can have dope artists individually that you meet, that you run across, and they'll be some of the dopest people to make music with. But the
Yeah,
masses looks at South Carolina in a different way. And
Right.
yeah,
so hopefully this music we making can kind of change that perception.
yeah,
Yes, man. Yes, man. Damn. Well said, brother. Well said.
yeah.
Yo, listen, man. It has been a pleasure chatting with y'all.
No doubt.
Before we get out of here, let the folks know where they can find y'all, whether it be, your social media pages, your websites,
Yeah,
even Bandcamp, like
no
where
doubt.
can they keep connected with y'all?
You can find me, man, on T-Nyce on Instagram, T-Nyce the Kid. That's T-N-Y-C-E the Kid. All music platforms, T-Nyce as well, T-N-Y-C-E. Bandcamp T-Nyce, or just Google T-Nyce. All my music and everything I did in the past 10, 15 years will come up. 85 Concepts, the label. You can
Yeah.
Google that as well.
Dope.
All of my socials are True Jorai at True Jorai, TrueJorai on Instagram, Facebook. Um, my website is TrueJorai, TrueJorai.com. So you put that in, it'll take you right to all of my music. I'm Jorai on all of the streaming platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your music, that's where
Yeah.
I'm at.
That's what's up.
So,
Shout out to T-Nyce and Jorai. Thank
no
you
Yes,
so
doubt.
sir.
much for
No
being
doubt.
here on Out the Box.
Appreciate you.
I wish you all nothing but continued success with your
No
music,
doubt.
man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting that substance in the music, and
Yeah.
staying true to y'all, man.
See.
Hip hop, in my humble opinion, I feel like hip hop needs more and more of that, right? And that to me is what helps to push the culture
No
forward, man,
doubt.
and keep it going. So, thank you all for your contribution to hip hop
Appreciate you, fam.
music, man. And like I said, man, let's stay connected with the new
Oh, we
music.
will.
I
Oh,
got
we
the
Yes,
gonna
sir.
stay
blog,
connected.
so when I be
Yeah.
able to post up the new music, feel free to send me any new music y'all got coming out, and yeah, man. And to all the people tuning in on the platform, remember to go to the website outtheboxmedia.com. You can
No doubt.
also actually subscribe for free on the website to be able to get on our mailing list so we can update you with all the things Out the Box related. Remember
What's
I
up?
have a music review channel at Out the Box Media on YouTube as well. And Let us know how y'all feel about some of the, the interviews and the shows and all the dope stuff we do with Out the Box. All
No
right.
doubt.
So I thank y'all again for tuning in. And I thank my guests. I will catch y'all on the next
No
episode.
doubt.
We are signing off for episode 105 of Out the Box
Peace. Out
Talks.
the box.
Shout out for real. What up?
All right.
Peace, love, and light. Y'all stay focused, stay healthy, stay safe.